Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made to help more real estate agents be top producers in their desired market anywhere in the country. You can go to topproducersnation.com to see all of our online resources to help you do just that. That includes courses and training and coaching calls and built out software to help you get leads, close leads, and make sure that you build out the lifestyle that you probably became an agent for to begin with. So check all that out at topproducersnation.com. We are powered on a local level by our Tampa Bay Real Producers franchise, and that franchise features the top 500 producing real estate agents here in our Tampa Bay market out of over 24,000 licensed agents in this local market. Our guest today here in studio was one of those recent agents who we just featured in Tampa Bay Real Producers as an up-and-coming rising star in the market, and that is none other than Bianca McRee with Keller Williams with the Judy Post team. And as you can see, her article over here, she was featured just recently in one of our upcoming issues. Bianca, it's good to have you on the show. How are you?
It's good to be here. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to have you here. I know we've tried to get you to a couple of events. We've had conflicts with schedules and stuff, so I'm glad we can finally work it out, and it's good to meet you in person for sure. So congratulations, of course, on the feature. And for people who didn't get a chance to kind of check it out yet, we'll kind of just start with your background a little bit. So did you grow up in Tampa? If not, how'd you get here?
No, I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Nice.
You can tell me you're sorry for me. It's okay.
I love Jersey City. I had an uncle that lived there for many years.
So I was born there, and I was there until about 17. Graduated high school with an academic scholarship, and I decided I wanted to move here.
Okay.
So,
did you know anyone in Tampa, or
so I had family here.
Your name?
Yeah, I had family here. So, between Tampa and St. Pete, I have some uncles and aunts and cousins.
Okay.
And so I took my academic scholarship, and I actually attended the University of Tampa for 2 years, and then I finished
I'm a fellow
up.
UT grad myself.
Are you?
Spartan in the house. Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
Whoop, whoop. So, I actually didn't graduate. I graduated from St. Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. It still counts.
Yeah.
It's all good. What were you majoring in at school?
So initially I was a bio major, biology, and then I graduated with a social work degree.
Okay.
So I went into social work.
So real estate wasn't necessarily the focus at that time.
It wasn't even a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what got you interested in real estate then?
So with my ex-husband for 11 years, and he had a job at the time. He was in the millwrights, so he worked for the union. So he was gone a lot. It was like 6 to 9 months out of the year, and we wanted to start a family. So he was like, "Well, I got to do something to be home," and he went into real estate. And he learned very quickly that he's not much of a relations guy. Yeah, I've always been the social one. So he chased me around for a year and was like, you're made for this. Like, I need you to work with me. Like, I think we could build a team. And because it was just so hard for me to leave social work. I ran the veterans program out of Baycare. We had a rehab out of Baycare.
Okay.
And it is a high reward, low paying job. And so you're definitely don't make what you're worth,
Sure.
But the impact is there, and my heart was there. So finally, and it's a lot of hours in that. And I was like, I guess I really need to get serious because we are planning on having children. And so I saw that real estate might give me the finances and the flexibility that I needed, but I could still help people. I would still have the time to still be involved in the community. And so that's what I did.
So it was a little bit of a part-time commitment at first.
No, it was full time, but it allowed me the flexibility to still be a part of. So there's a church that I attend that's also a part of like the community out there, and they have homes for like people in recovery and veterans and things like that. It's a Ruth and Boaz house.
Okay.
So it's like part sober living, faith-based.
Yeah.
And so I was able to
love
help.
the name. That's fitting.
Yeah, right. And I was able to help open that, and I was part of the operations, and I was part of the admission. So I became their admissions coordinator for that and helped get that running.
Nice.
So it gave me the flexibility to still be involved in some way.
Are you still involved with that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we actually do a spotlight, call it a Making a Difference feature in the magazine for different months sometimes. And so we look for good causes that we might be able to show some light on, and that might be one that fits.
That would be
fits the bill
awesome
for that. So that's cool. Ruth and Boaz house, it's called?
Ruth and Boaz, yeah. And it's out of Church of Christ.
Okay.
So.
And so when you first got started, I think you told me before you got licensed around 2021. Is that correct? In real estate?
Yeah, it was either 2020, 2022. I think it was the end of 2020.
Yep.
Yeah.
And every year that you've been in it, you've kind of gradually grown the business, it seems like, year over year. So talk to me about that first year when you got licensed, because a lot of people really struggle when they're new in this game to kind of, especially if they've never necessarily done sales or had to make their, paycheck off of commission before and figure out that whole dynamic.
It is scary.
I can imagine, yeah. And it sounds like your background was in salary-based type roles. Is that true?
Right.
Yeah.
So I had a guaranteed paycheck and income, right?
Totally.
And then you go from that to being 1099, and it's like
it's a whole new world.
Yeah, but for someone like me, because I'm not all there, I guess. It's like it really lights a fire.
Sure.
It's like now it's time to hustle and grind.
Yeah.
It's like my back's against the wall, and that's when I do my best.
And you talked about like getting paid what you're worth.
Right.
And ultimately, I think one of the beautiful things about real estate is that there's no cap to your income, right?
Right.
You can make as much money as you want to make. If you want to make more, you just simply have to work smarter, work harder, figure out better systems. There's no cap.
Right.
And that's not true in most W-2 or salary-based, type positions. So it's different animal altogether.
Right. Not unless there is like incentive, right, or kickbacks or bonus things like that.
Yep.
I would
sometimes
assume
those are creatively put together.
Right.
So in that first year though, with real estate, you're not from this area. I know I guess you had lived here a little bit anyway before you got into real estate.
Over 17 years now.
Okay, you have. So you've been here, had a nice core, I guess, of network. Is that how you got started? Did you just tap into network?
So it was 21. It was April of 21. I started studying for the state exam in 2020.
Okay.
So, and then
year after COVID kicked in, right? That was
it was after. Yeah, so it was April was when I passed my test. And then I got into it, but I had a handicap because my ex-husband Travis, he was already there. So he was already in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So he was my mentor.
Yep.
So it wasn't like I was trying to figure it out blindly or flailing. And then my first brokerage was Coldwell Banker, which is the original one that's been there over 100 years. So and I was under Armstrong there, and he is phenomenal. So him and his wife, they helped me out, and then and then I had Travis, who really he's the one who showed me the ropes.
Yeah.
So,
did you get leads provided for you in those early times?
No.
Or were you self-generating from day one?
It was me, self-generating from day one.
Okay.
Yep.
And so have you found over time that there were any specific strategies that helped you in getting that pipeline moving?
So at Keller Williams, we have there's like a crash course. I wouldn't say crash course, but it's a very intensive training. It's called BOLD. Have you heard of it?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So, and I'll get a little bit into the backstory. We'll come back to like how I ended up there. But that's when I really started learning about systems and processes and pillars and the MREA way, right? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent
Great
model.
book.
Yes. So that one, and then the playbook.
It's like the Constitution for real estate.
Right.
Yes.
It is the handbook. And so that was when I started to become more refined, and then when my business started to double. So after my first year, it was Travis and I, we had our own team, and after our first year together, we did 10 million together.
Nice.
Yeah. And so
And that was with KW.
No, that was
wasn't?
Coldwell.
Okay.
We were with Coldwell, and then we went from there to Blake Real Estate in Clearwater. They're out of Clearwater. So we were doing business between there and like Pinellas,
Rick,
Pasco.
right?
Rick Blake,
We featured Rick before a couple years ago.
Yeah. He's cool, and I really love his wife too. I've worked with her a bunch. She's got Movement Mortgage.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's pretty good loan officer as well. So where were we? I got mom brain.
You were talking about I think the transition from Blake Colwell to Blake, and then I guess eventually to KW.
Yeah, so we were with Blake, and then together we were doing 10 million. So we were doing a pretty high volume. I was pregnant at this time. It was getting to be very heavy, because like, it was like, okay, like my time off was gonna come up, baby was coming. It was becoming increasingly harder for me. And we were starting to break into this neighborhood called Gulf Harbors. It's like the only neighborhood in the Newport Richey area that's like waterfront. You have like beautiful deep water access, right? And we were breaking into this neighborhood, and Travis is like, it would be a dream to just be on the Queen of Gulf Harbors team. That's Judy Popst. And I really wanted to do a lot more, but that's what we were doing. We started farming the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we were putting all of our marketing dollars. And Judy caught wind of this. So now Nicole,
she was pretty dominant in that area.
Well, she dominates. She holds over 20% of the share.
Yep.
Yeah. So and our team has grown exponentially since I've been on. I've been on there 2 years now.
Okay.
Almost. October will be my second year. So long story long is Nicole was the office manager for Blake, and she left. And we were close to her, but I didn't know where she went. I didn't, it wasn't talked about what brokerage she went to. And then one day I contacted her about a listing, and she sounded so happy. And I'm like, well, what is different? What are you doing? She's like, I'm on the Judy Popes team now. So she's the operations manager for the Judy Popes team.
Okay.
So we already kind of like had an in there.
Yeah.
And then we started marketing the neighborhood, and we have this thing called R&D, rip off and duplicate, right? So
that's smart.
Right.
Most successful people just model other people.
All right. So it turns out that Judy and Nicole were starting to rip off our stuff, right? Our newsletters. They were hitting you
right back with the old R&D.
Right. So we created this newsletter that they have that is the newsletter we created. It's really neat, actually. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, oh, that's a great idea. So they started creating newsletters, started creating these postcards and things like that. And so one day I had this idea. I was like, oh, I want to start making gifts for my clients. And I was like, I'm going to make wine for them. And there was this shop called Grape Expectations. Mm-hmm. And so I go over there to make my wine. I knock, and the manager's not there. And there's a number on the door, and I call it. And I'm like, hey, I was supposed to make some wine, and this is Bianca McRee. And the woman on the other line is like, Bianca McRee? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I know who you are. And I'm like, wait, who is this? And she's like, it's Judy. I'm like, Judy Popes?
Judy was there hanging out, huh?
She was the number on the door.
Uh-huh.
And she wasn't there yet. She's like, you wait right there. I'll be right over. She comes over, she drives over, and she lets me in. And she's like, I got to be honest with you. I really don't know how to make wine, but I wanted to meet you.
Uh-huh.
She's like, that she has a store manager who does that. And And I was like, I can't believe I'm meeting you right now. and I'm like, I can't believe that you know me. I'm a little fish. She's like, well, you've been making some waves in the neighborhood and this, we had a chat. And she says, do you ever think about leaving your brokerage? And I said, I do. I do. And she's like, you ever think about being on a team? Here's our dream, right?
Yeah.
Come into life. And I said,
well, it's funny that you didn't ever have to take necessarily the initiative to connect with her directly, like the way that it all kind of worked out with her.
Right, divine.
Yeah, working on the back end, it was all meant to be, I guess.
Right, and I was like, yeah, and she's like, well, let's chat. She's like, I'm heading out to Georgia from this state to the. I said, I'm going to Georgia from this state. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, Blairsville. She's like, I'm going to Blairsville.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a little no town in like nowhere, Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So we meet up in Georgia.
In mysterious ways, doesn't he?
Right. We meet up at the same festival in Georgia.
Wow.
And then we get back and the rest was history. It was, we were on the team.
Very cool.
And then we've helped grow it and helped with marketing. And it's really, how many
agents are on the team now?
So when we started, I think there was 4 and I think we're up to 8 now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you focused as well on that side? Do you help recruit and help build the team, or are you just focused on self-production?
It's a unanimous decision. Yeah. It's we have an agent that might be a prospect, and then Judy has her own interview, and then she leaves it to the team to make the final decision.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Since you joined the team, and I think there's a lot in what you just said there. What I took anyway was a lot of times when new agents struggle, they don't understand the importance of finding a mentor, right? So you had some success, obviously, even before you met Judy. But I'm assuming since you've connected with Judy and been part of that team, your success has accelerated. You've said that yourself.
Yeah.
And so that power of a mentor, I think, is an important lesson for people to flush out and understand, and why that's so critical, especially when you're newer.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the truth is I've had several coaches and mentors.
Sure.
Because I've learned something different. I haven't kept the same one.
Yep.
But I've learned, and Judy is a mentor for me, but I've also had real estate coaches. Yep. I've had probably 4 or 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. What would you say is the biggest impact since joining Judy's team that it's had on your business? Specific systems or anything different?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely systems and leverage. Leverage has been the biggest, because there's nothing like having the support of a team, right? Because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the social worker in me, or it's God. I don't know, that I attract like some of the toughest deals, right? The chicken wire and duct tape specials. Yeah, right. And it's been such a blessing to have
duct tape special.
Chicken wire and duct tape special. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So, you're holding it up.
Yeah.
And
well, you mentioned something else earlier that I want to make sure I bring up, and that is, you talked about farming. And you talked about the newsletter idea that you had brought to the community at that time. One of the things that we preach a lot about with our principles, we have what we call the 4 principles of top producers. We try to teach more agents how to follow those principles. And the first thing is about clarifying your unique selling proposition, which could be a farming area. There's a lot of ways to do that, but that's an example of one. Like identifying the neighborhood is one way to go about it, which you did, and then having a specific positioning where you could be viewed as a neighborhood go-to resource, like you positioned yourself to be.
Correct.
But then having a specific, what we call value-leading offer to create a product or a report or a service or something that is for free at first, just to be able to get people to see that you're willing to add value to that USP, right? To that, say, neighborhood in this case, which is exactly what you did with the newsletters that you created. So and I've seen that pattern be consistent with so many different top producers that we've brought on the show, and the stories are always different, but the way that they build their brand and their business is very, I would say there's a definite trend there and a pattern that I think most agents who aren't yet there should look at and try to emulate.
Absolutely.
Which you mentioned earlier, the power of modeling, right? So all very good stuff, and I appreciate you sharing that. So you mentioned as well off camera that you have some experience now working with investors. And do you, up until this point, what has been the most number of deals that you've done in a year? I think you said this is going to be your best year, right? 2025?
Yes.
You think you'll end up somewhere around 30 plus or so this year?
I should end around 45.
Very cool.
Ish.
And that would be the highest so far?
Yeah, at 32 last year.
Okay.
32
Very cool.
units, yeah.
And so what percentage of those are investor connected?
So I think I did I think about 15% of those were off market.
So are those your investor network? Is the
Yes.
off-market deals? Okay.
Yep.
So it's not the bulk percentage, but it's a decent percentage, say 15%. So your business right now seems like you have an investor side of it where you're serving the investor relationships that you have, but you're also still getting the majority of your business from your traditional
Correct.
sellers and buyers as far as your traditional retail real estate. Is that fair?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because a lot of times people can struggle with having both of those audiences because they're two very different audiences.
Very different.
All right, to serve. So touch on that a little bit. Like, what do you prefer one or the other? Does it matter to you?
No, and for me, it's about growth. It's about growth and opportunity.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why I really like having my foot in the door with investments and learning about this, and because this is a lot of it is unregulated, right? Because you do have like sub 2 and you do
Sure.
have wholesaling stuff, which I've gotten into myself. But for me, it's about growth because as an agent, there's no security. You're 1099.
Yep.
You got to create it. So you sit with investors, you work with investors, you learn to think like them.
Sure.
And so now I'm on the path to becoming one, right? I currently own 2 properties. I'm looking to find my first flip. I have an investor that's willing to put up the money because, right, the secret is you don't use your own money to do
Yep.
these things,
Yep.
right? So so that has really been my end goal in doing this and having my foot in that is because when you sit with millionaires,
You
right?
learn. Yeah.
You learn from them. You learn to think like them. You
Yep.
learn to in that direction.
It's also great just to have stability in your business, right? Because
Right.
as markets ebb and flow, which happens in real estate, some agents have really struggled over the last year or two.
Correct.
Because this is a different market than 2021, right? As an example, when you have the ability to serve different audiences, you can always pivot your focus if needed at a time to be able to, serve that audience at maybe at a higher level for a single year or two. And that way you can maintain that consistency in your unit count and in your overall sales volume, which an agent who doesn't have that ability might see more of an up and down roller coaster type approach.
Right.
Yeah, so I think all that makes sense. And I appreciate you saying right. I appreciate that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Bianca. It's okay. So you mentioned you're learning from these investors now.
Mm-hmm.
And you own a couple rentals yourself? Did I hear you
Well,
correctly?
so I own 2 properties currently, and
Okay.
the one that I'm currently in will become a rental next year,
Okay.
and I'll keep moving. So that's one strategy for me. The other is to flip and
Yep.
then collect the money and then keep going until I can. Right.
The investors you've worked with, have they been flippers? Have they been buy and hold like landlord types?
All types.
A little bit of
All
both?
types. Yeah.
Okay.
All types. Sub 2s, wholesalers, flippers, buy and holds.
It's
Yeah.
interesting in the wholesaler, you've mentioned that because a lot of agents have a negative opinion, right?
I'm on both sides
of the
it.
wholesale
Yeah.
market, for sure.
I don't like other wholesalers, but I've also wholesaled.
Which ultimately,
Yeah.
I guess just like anything else, you kind of just have to take it person by person and figure out if they actually know what they're doing or not. But
Right.
it is one of those realms where a lot of newbies get into it and it can kind of like ruin the reputation.
Well, because the reality is a lot of wholesalers, they don't tell the truth.
Right.
Right.
There's a lot of misrepresenting.
Right. And that's what peeves me. So the times that I have done it, I've been completely forthcoming and honest
Yeah.
with the client. Like, hey, these are your options. We can list, we can do the soft market, we can if that happens, I'm gonna wholesale it, and this is what you're looking at.
Yep.
Right. And I don't
Lay it all out.
you have to.
Totally.
You have to
Let
in this
them
business.
know all the options and make a wise decision.
You have to CYA.
Yeah.
You have to.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, that's how you ruin your reputation and also
You
can
can
get in
lose your
legal trouble.
license, right? Yeah.
right.
All that stuff. So disclose always.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. So talk about then the other side when you're working with your traditional home buyer and home seller.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer, again, one way or the other, or does it not really matter that much to you?
You mean to whether I'm on the listing or buy?
Yeah. Well, whether you're working with investors, listing, buying, is there any preference that you have with any of the three, or?
Not really.
Got it.
I mean, I love all of it.
Where do you get most of your business from now? Is it all organic, referral based?
So I'm on a team, so I do get leads from
Okay.
the team, and then I work my sphere very often. And then I have like a little bit of a social media presence. So I get leads that way as well. And
Cool.
then a lot of it's like referrals. I make, relationships with other agents. So I've gotten like out of state referrals, and then I refer to them if I have someone going there.
Yep.
That's been really neat. So I've cultivated those. It's all about relationships in
Totally.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Do do anything intentionally to meet more investors and to work in that space?
Yes, but I'm very careful. Like I said, with the investor space, so what I've done is I've actually bought into a investor pool before.
Okay.
I've done like things like Investor Lift and stuff like that. And then from there I've met investors locally, and then meeting them locally, I decide if I want to add them to my personal pool and work with them. So I have like my own personal pool of investors that I trust, right? And then I've also like bought into a pool so that I can make build those relationships, right? Build it right.
Is there a type of investor that you prefer to work with? Does it matter?
I prefer to work with investors that are going to buy to flip and put back on, right? Okay. Because then I get double side, right?
Makes sense. Absolutely.
That's the preference for me.
And then, like you said, you also might do some of that yourself as you're building that portfolio. Correct. And so forth. Cool.
Yep.
I get it. So now that you've been licensed, I guess 2025. So let's say 4 years in this business.
I'm in my fourth year. Yeah.
In your fourth year now. So has it been what you expected it to be when you got licensed 4 years ago?
No, I had no idea what I was getting into. None.
I guess in a much better way.
My thought was I just open the door and say, you want to buy this house? Cool. Sign this contract.
Yeah,
like I really thought it was like that simple.
Yeah.
And
what was the biggest thing you feel like was a surprise for you?
All of it.
Like deals falling apart and dealing with people's personalities and
so I was
really
already
think viewing it like a true consultant is usually the differentiator between most of the top producers and other agents that I don't think can really consult very well, if I had to put it that way.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I do. I agree with that mainly because like where I came from, right? I came from a clinical standpoint. Mm-hmm. So I already had the mindset of like my client, it's about my client. It was the fiduciary duty was already there, mm-hmm. right? That kind of vibe, I guess, or whatever, sure. or mindset sure. was already there for me. So, yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it, honestly. Like, yeah, deals falling apart is hard, and then dealing with, because real estate's emotional.
Yeah,
it's very emotional.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And it's a different level of emotion when you're dealing with an investor versus
investor. There's no emotion there.
It's all numbers for the most part.
For them, right?
It gets emotional when their deals screw up, but
right.
That's a whole different conversation.
But for our clients, most of the time we're dealing with their largest asset.
Sure.
This is their biggest asset,
all the memories have been made, and
right. All the money that they put in, like this is, for some, I've had clients where like this is where their retirement's going to come from, or this is what's going to bail them out of a hard, tough situation, or this is what's going to help them upsize to grow their family, or and things like that.
Totally.
Yeah, or dealing with estates, right? That one's rough.
Yeah.
But so because I have those skills, those people skills, those clinical skills, it's been much more beneficial for me to be able to de-escalate. And like, I love what Judy says. She says, you have to be the rudder in a stormy sea, right?
That's smart.
Right.
Judy sounds very wise.
She is.
Yes.
She's amazing. I'm on one of the best teams, hands down.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
What does your vision look like for the future? Do you want to build your own team one day? Do you want to build Judy's team with her hand in hand? What are some of your thoughts on where you see things going?
What I truly want to do is I want to build and hopefully part own the team. I love my team. I mean, it's become like home for me and their family.
Yeah.
So I would like to see Judy's legacy like continue and grow, and I would love to be a part of that.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like an expansion.
I'm sure Judy would like that as well.
Yeah, well, we've talked about like an expansion team. Like if maybe one day I would do like a branch of it and expand it south.
It's awesome. It's one of the things I really like about real estate is you can get creative with so many different things. Obviously, how deals get done and structured, but even just the branding and how you want to build your organization and what you want that organization to look like and be sustainable for the long term. And are you going to share equity? Are you going to try to sell certain things? Like there's just a lot of different ways that you can get creative with it. And especially when you like who you work with and enjoy the culture, it makes it fun, I think, to build that way.
Yeah, the culture is, I knew it was perfect for me, right? Because our culture is based on God, family, and then business in that order. So
I love that too.
yeah.
Very cool. You guys seem aligned on that, so that's always a win as well. If you had to give a piece of advice to newer agents or really agents of any, length of time in the business about one of the more challenging things or lessons that you feel like you've learned, does anything come to mind that you felt like has been an obstacle that you were able to overcome, or something that you feel like you learned a big lesson about?
Yeah. Learned a big lesson in faith through this, because it's faith and having an abundancy mindset.
Great.
Period. Yeah, that's because when you're in a business where you're working for yourself and you can't control the market, right? You cannot close your mind off. You cannot have a scarcity mindset. You have to keep the faith, and you have to have that abundancy mindset. Nose to the grindstone and keep it open, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big difference between someone who has that abundant mindset versus the scarcity mindset.
Correct.
How it affects everything with your business, how you view your relationships, so many different things. So I couldn't agree with you more. Plus, in real estate, because there's so many people that are licensed, it also, I think, affects your relationships with other agents, because you either view them as the competition and they're like the enemy, or you understand the importance of collaboration and realize there's plenty of business for everybody.
Right. It's the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And that is the mindset that I think, thankfully, a lot of the top producers have, which we've gotten a chance to talk through. And at least in my experience, I feel like that's a pattern I also have seen. But it also does exist where you have so many licensed agents who, most of them are not top producers yet, who don't have that mindset. Right. And that could be a challenging thing.
Well, and that will limit your growth.
For sure.
Yeah. In anything, not just real estate, anything in life.
Couldn't agree more, Bianca, for sure. We'll switch gears a little bit for some personal side for people that maybe didn't read your article and know that much about you. We did mention your daughter. I think you said you have a 2-year-old at home, so you got your hands full being a mom there as well. What's that been like for you, just balancing work, business, now that your daughter is growing and I'm sure getting more involved in, you mentioned off camera, not trying to kill herself on a regular basis. So
yeah, that's 80% of my time with her.
Yeah, I can imagine. Which has got to still be a challenge, is figuring out that balance of time. How anything you can share there that you feel like has been helpful for you?
Yeah. My calendar.
Sticking to it.
Yeah, right. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. And then being disciplined about creating my own schedule, and so biggest thing with that is self-care. Have to always. So, and I make sure that I carve out time for that every morning. That looks like the gym, some time, with Jesus, and some quiet time, and then some affirmations, right? And then I have in my office, I have boards on the wall where I get to look at my pipeline and what I have pending, active and pending and coming soon, and then my whole pipeline. So like that is, I set the tone and then I stick to my schedule. Otherwise, yeah.
No,
with a kid and a business, it will,
totally.
It's hard to manage otherwise.
Great stuff there. It's really important to have that calendar that you actually, I agree the same thing. If it's not in my calendar, it just never happens.
Right.
It's not possible. For me to remember things, forget about it. So it's not going to be the case. And so many people do struggle, though, with that simple, it seems like a simple principle, but a lot of people don't discipline themselves enough to actually manage their calendar day by day or week by week, and then plan, properly through it.
Right.
And then having some leverage and some support to help with their pipelines and visually looking at their systems the way that you just talked about. So that's one of the reasons why we built out a software called Top Producers Nation for people to try to help them do that on a visual side. And there's a whole bunch of like automations and stuff built in to try to help them as agents get to that level. But it's really critical, whether it's ours or there's other great ones out there, but use something, right? Have something in place that's gonna help them get to that level.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. So is that kind of like a CRM as well?
It is. Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah, manages all their contacts.
So it keeps you on task.
Builds workflows.
Yeah, email this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they can almost get rid of every other software that they need. It's all in-house, built in through calendar management, email management. They can even build funnels, websites. It's pretty robust.
It's a powerful tool right there.
Google My Business page. They can check all their reviews. Everything is kind of all in-house there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the point. Love it. So a couple quick things here regarding hobbies and interests and some of your things that you love to do. You mentioned gym. You mentioned, that's what I heard anyway. So it's just your relationship with Christ and emphasizing that. What are some things that kind of are important to you that keep you when you're not always focused on real estate? What do you love to do?
So I mentioned that, I have a hand in the community still. So I do love that. Hazel, she came about through IVF. I had to go that route. It's in my story a little bit about that in the article. So
I love that name, Hazel.
Hazel. So I've actually done a handful of podcasts based on that, because I struggled with autoimmune disorder, and then I was able to get it into remission by changing my diet and my lifestyle. So like removing like toxic products and then going strict carnivore, right? And then I was able to carry her. And so another thing I do is I've like done the podcast and I put myself out there, and I have women around the world that I support like emotionally, that call me, and I support them through their journeys of trying to
going through infertility and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Sure do.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Is it your podcast?
No, so I do have a podcast. I have to, we got to get it back up. It's called Fertile Beginnings. I think there's about 3 or 4 episodes on that. But then I've also been on Dr. Robert Kiltz. He was my doctor. He's also a celebrity doctor. Been on there. Steak and Butter Gal is. She's she's very big.
Okay.
If you look her up, I've been on her podcast, and Kevin the Visionary. So I've done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Years ago, I went to I'm sure you know Tony Robbins, right?
Yes.
So I went to a couple of his events, and he does like a health and wealth event, which was a total of 9 days. So it was pretty intense. This was down in Marco Island, and for the first 5 days, it was the health side of the event, where we literally fasted for the entire 5 days.
Wow, that's awesome.
And only had some liquid diet, no food at all for 5 days, and it was probably one of the most transformational things that I ever gone through, because you had all these specialists coming in and teaching about some of the stuff you mentioned,
right,
with our diet and nutrition and the impact it has on everything.
The
right?
microbiome, the glycobiome.
The whole 9 yards.
Yep,
yeah.
Yep,
it was very eye-opening for me. Definitely made a big difference in just how we bought groceries, what we were looking for, our eating habits, and all that kind of stuff. So it was an eye-opening thing for sure. There's a great book called Life Force that Tony wrote, which really digs into a lot of that, and then gives a bunch of kind of up-to-date modern medical breakthroughs and all these different disease-oriented things that we battle with.
Yeah, well, because health is wealth.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like number one thing. Because I know top producers myself that like just they really don't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that ain't gonna last.
No.
Given one body here on Earth, you might as well take care of it. Right. Yeah, I agree with you for sure. You said something that triggered a thought about like in England, like if you study the word wealth, I might butcher this, but like the idea behind the root of the word wealth is well health. Like that's really
health
the concept of wealth.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So yeah, makes sense for sure. Couple rapid fire things.
Sure.
Do you have a favorite book, author, seminar that you've ever gone to that you feel like has made an impact on you personally or professionally?
Wow. Other than the Bible,
that's the best one.
That's the best one.
It is
66.
It is 66 books written by 40 plus authors over 1,500 years. Check it out. That's my Charlie Kirk shout out right there.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. God bless him. So I've read 12 Rules for Life. That was pretty good.
Yeah. That's Joe Gibbs, right?
No, that's Jordan Peterson.
Oh, okay.
12 Rules for Life. Yeah. So it's very good, like mental, right? About the way that you think. Because of course I'm clinically based, right? So I'm all about
psychology. Yeah,
and growing and healing and evolving, right? Because we all have our stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's super important. Miracle Morning is a really it's great.
He's actually a friend of mine.
Is he?
Yeah, I know him from I used to sell Cutco knives. And that was his, if you know his story, he used to be a top sales guy with Cutco before he got into that car accident.
Right.
And so we were actually in the same organization together at that time selling. I was in the East Coast and he was on the West Coast, so I knew him from conferences and stuff. But yeah, his story is very powerful.
And then The Happiness Advantage.
It's another great one.
That one really changed me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's the author of that? I forget now. Remember? I've read it, but I don't remember who the author is now. I think about it. Rob will find it. He'll throw it up there.
Yeah.
Throw it up there. But those are good resources for sure. Do you read a lot?
Yes, I read every day.
Nice.
Yes.
Part of the routine, right?
And right now I'm reading Tony Robbins, actually.
Really? Have you ever attended any of his events?
No, I haven't.
You would love it.
It's Awaken the Giant Within is what I'm reading.
Unleash the Power.
That's
Unleash the Power Within.
That's the one I'm reading.
Calls it. Yep. That's like his introductory event as well.
Sean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. So UPW was a 3-day event that was the first thing I went to. That's where you walk on fire and everything, which is a whole other experience.
Wow.
So I'm a fire walker myself. Yes. And then from that, I did about, I think, 4 of his events: a business mastery, health and wealth mastery. He has a leadership academy one that I also attended. And then there's one other I'm missing. It's called Date with Destiny, which he does in Palm Beach. And that's like his kind of like UPW advanced. So really powerful stuff. Somebody in your background and from our conversation, I think you would really love a lot of his work. So I would encourage you to check it out sometime.
Yeah, I'd have to get whenever. I know he was out. He was out here not too long ago, right?
He's always all over the place, man.
Okay.
They travel all over the country. He's based out of Palm Beach, though. That's like his main headquarters. Yep. He does an annual trip to Fiji. That's Health and Wealth Academy. So they do one in Fiji, but they also do one in other locations. The one I went to was in Marco Island, but it was the same event, actually.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and then you have Mel, who's like in the Let Them era, which has really helped me a lot, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the power of the mentality is definitely the driving force behind like our belief systems and how we, accomplish the things that we try to get to. It's not possible if you have those mental blocks.
Correct.
So identifying them is definitely helping you get to the next level. Do you have a favorite TV show or movie?
Parks and Rec.
Oh, really? You're a comedy gal?
Yeah.
That is funny, actually. I've checked out some episodes.
Oh, yeah. That's probably my favorite next to The Office.
You are definitely a comedy gal, huh?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Movie, that's a tough one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all good. I think you gave people a taste of your style.
Yeah.
So. All right. So we're going to put a bow, I think, here on the episode. And I appreciate you being here. I always enjoy getting to know our guests a little bit more, and especially the people we've featured in Real Producers. My last question is, what would you identify as the legacy that you hope to leave, say, many years from now when you're sitting on that rocking chair and you can look back on what you think would be most important to you and what you'd want to be most remembered for, personally or professionally? What are some thoughts that come to mind on your legacy?
In general, and also for my children, I would like to be remembered for my faith and just for always being the kind of person that is always available to help anyone. Mm-hmm. That's just really
serving others.
Serving others, right.
I think you're in the right industry for that. The top agents seem to serve pretty well, and it's the right mentality for sure.
No, we rise by lifting others.
Amen. I agree with that. Well, Bianca, it was a pleasure. If somebody wanted to pick your brain, follow up with anything that you might have mentioned on the show today, what's the best way for someone to reach you?
They can. You can find me on Facebook, Bianca McRee. Add me, shoot me a message on my personal page, not my business page. I get a lot of spam on there, so I'm very weary. Can do that anytime. Just hit me up on Facebook. My information's there. Reach out.
Very cool.
Yep.
Well, don't be a stranger. You're invited moving forward to our different MVP socials, and now that you've been featured, you're part of the family. So hopefully we'll see you at some of those events in the future. I know it's not always easy for you to make that work, but hopefully we'll see you again somewhere soon. We're going to put a bow on the episode the way we always do with the audience, and that is to simply challenge them to take action on at least one thing that you heard us talk about today on the show. And so I'm a big believer that if you just listen, whether you're watching live through YouTube or whatever platform you're on, if you're listening in on any of your favorite podcast platforms, as a side note, click the little button below that says subscribe. That way you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode, which is weekly. That way you can be notified when these great conversations take place with our guests. But what is one thing that you are taking from these episodes so that way you can better your situation? If you're an agent who wants to be a consistent top producer, maybe it's the power of having some software, some leverage that Bianca talked about, finding a mentor if you're newer especially, and you need to find a great team that can help you bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to be. Maybe it's as simple as picking up some of the book recommendations that Bianca mentioned with the 3 different book examples that she gave. Checking out, our platform if there's a need there to be able to, fill into ways that we can help you. Whatever it might be, but take action somewhere, right? Don't just let things go in one ear and out the other. If you keep doing the same things, you're going to keep getting the same results. And we want to make sure that we create different results if that's what you want. In this business. So we will see you, of course. And again, check all that out at topproducersnation.com to learn more about the different community and software and programs we have to help support you. But you can always see us at topproducersnation.com or by simply following these socials for the different podcast episodes. We'll see you on the next episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. See you later.